Okay, so let's talk about IWM. We have some stuff here on IWM. A little bit of weakness here. The most important chart, as I said, well, I talked about this in the day trading room. There it is, right here. That's the most important chart next to watching ES levels. And this VIX right here, getting above 20, pretty significant. You're starting to see some momentum. If you look at the 195 chart on the VIX, you see a series of higher lows that are developing very quietly. And if this VIX starts to go higher, seasonality is almost about to kick in as we get, closer and closer to July. We've got, stuff going on in the Middle East with the oil going higher, gold starting to, there's a good amount of buying in gold as Apple continues to drop, Nvidia dropping a little bit. So there is a potential trade here in the Qs. Relation of ES and how to utilize for the opening. Yeah, so I'm not really going to talk too much about the open. That's more of a day trade conversation. But ES is the same. I mean, it's the S&P 500. But when you start approaching levels like 5,000, 6,000, and you want to see just like what the futures market is looking at in the overnight, they're looking at this, and they were looking at this level of 6,000. As soon as you got a breach of 6,000, that's when the FOMO traders came in and wanted to jump in because they missed this trade. But you have to beware of that. That's short-lived unless all the market internals support it. Is Nvidia making higher highs and higher lows? Is there real buying coming into Nvidia as this moves higher? Answer, no. Is there real buying coming into Apple? No. Right? Is the dollar moving higher with more overseas investors being bullish the US dollar? No. Are yields naturally coming down? Is there a rate cut? Or are they still staying elevated here because of fear of recession? Is the put-call ratio way unbalanced with too many calls versus puts? The market's looking to reverse. Where's the VIX? Well, now it's over 20. So I've got a lot of reason here to think that the markets are setting up for a correction. So I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to roll IWM because I want to hold on to that trade, and I want to short the Qs. And the reason why I want to short the Qs is because it is way extended. And Nvidia and Apple are in the Qs. But look at what's going on here. This is starting to get ugly quickly. And doesn't look like you're going to top that. It looks like this rebound off of this correction is getting ready for the next one. Now, how far down it goes, I don't know. The problem with buying the Qs to the downside is that puts are too expensive. So the move for me is to buy SQQQ calls. And if you looked at this chart, just like the semiconductors, that's the move. And these will be cheap to buy. Buy the 22s for Friday or for the next week. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's handle our business with QQQ, with IWM first. So what I did was I rolled IWM. We had the 199, 195. Yeah, I think to Friday. We'll just look at some of the options first. This is what we had. It only cost us $1. So what I did was I wrote, and this was for, and I probably should have kept it. This was for
Order filled.
Next Friday. Let me just see what filled. Oh, that was my, okay, $1. What I did was I rolled it backwards to today because I thought we were going to have a down move, which clearly we didn't. It only cost me 25 cents. So I'm in the trade for $1.25, but the trade ends today. And but I did roll the prices up to 206 in the Russell. So I'll get back to the Qs in a second. So I got to break 206 to the downside. I don't know if I get there tomorrow. Do I get to 206 tomorrow? Not sure. So should I consider rolling this trade to, well, the markets are closed on Thursday. Interesting, huh? So if I rolled it, I would have to roll it to the 20th. So let's just see what it looks like. So it's going to cost me 50 cents to roll it. So I might want to wait until the end of the day, and maybe it'll be a little cheaper. Let me just see what the actual trade is itself. Because even if I didn't have IWM short, and I looked at the charts the way I'm looking at them now, I'd probably short it, which is a good way to decide whether to take a trade or not. Is if you looked at it with fresh eyes, would you take it? So 206, 203, TK, it's worthless. So it's basically a 50-cent trade if you want it. Hold on, one thing at a time. So 206, 203. So let's see how we could do this. So what I'm going to try to do is get back most of my capital. So I'm down $1.25, and I'm looking at this. So what if I did right at there at 208? This is for the 20th. What if I did the 208, 206, and I bought those for 50 cents? If this trade works, I get almost all my money back. Almost. Not quite. So what if $2? Yeah. So what if we did this? What if we spent $75, bought the 208, 205 for Friday? If price comes down to 205, and a max profit is 225. But what if I only made $200? That gets, total. That would give me my $75 for this and the 125 that I've already spent, and I'd be even, right? On this, and then I could look to some other trades to add, but this kind of fixes the roll and everything else. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this trade, and I'm going to get the same number that I got. I'm going to see if I can do it as a roll. That way I don't have to close this one. Well, actually, you know what? I'll just let this one expire, and I'll just do a new one and see if I can get it for 74 cents, 208, 205s.
Order filled.
Yeah, it filled. Everybody understand? There we go. Okay, that takes care of IWM.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.